Chapter 3507. Hawade didn't expect Morgan to suddenly open his mouth to insult him and said in anger, "N, are you sick? Like a mad dog, you bite whoever you catch." Quote, "I'm FCU King happy." Morgan said in a cold voice. "Hawade, wait for me, if this thing can pass today, I can't FCU King spare you." Quote, "Don't forget, I'm the eldest son and grandson of the Wade family. Even if the Wade family kneels down and its assets shrink by half, I'm still the eldest son and grandson, you're still separated from me by Charlie." Hawade wanted to retort, but after thinking about it, he felt that what Morgan said seemed reasonable, so he couldn't help but shrink his neck. At this time, 8 buses also drove to the mountain. The good thing is that when Waderest was first built, a large open platform was made in the middle of the mountain, which is more than enough to park the 8 buses. After the buses stopped, the bus at the head of the row, from the first to come down, was the Song family's old man. After that, it was a black dress Warnia. Warnia's appearance once again stunned everyone. Many of them knew Nanako. After all, she had fought and appeared on TV in China before, and was on fire out of the circle in Japan. However, for Warnia, these Wade family members hardly had any knowledge. No one expected that a woman from a small place in Oris Hill could be so beautiful, with a remarkable and incomparable temperament. Next to get off the car, several subordinates of the Ito family. The first 2 subordinates each took a folding wheelchair and opened it immediately after getting off. After that, several people helped Ito Yuhiko and Tanaka Koichi, who had lost their legs, to get off the car and put them carefully on the wheelchairs. After they both sat down in the wheelchair, a silhouette came out of the car. The woman was dressed in a black with white cherry blossom pattern kimono, long hair coiled on top of her head. Not only her temperament is gentle and moving, her features are exquisite to impeccable. Her appearance made everyone on the scene look a little lost. She is the recognized Yamato Nadeshiko of all Japan, the current head of the Ito family, Nanako Ito. Nanako's appearance instantly shocked everyone beyond measure. Morgan's eyes were straightened. He had seen photos of her on the news reports, but never dreamed that this woman would look so beautiful, much more beautiful than in the photos and videos. This kind of beauty and temperament seen with his own eyes, simply like a fairy out of a painting, so that he felt a strong sense of unreality. Hawade is also looking dumbfounded. Deep inside, the envy and jealousy, long ago could not be described in words. At this time, from the back of these cars, one after another came down more than 200 people. Many of them have a firm face, body shape, a look as a practitioner origin. This makes the Wade family even more relieved. It is said that the strength of STR experts of the front who came to the country is only about 100 people. Now, one after another to help Charlie, there are more than 200 people, at least in the formation has a little support. What's more, there is still Leona, the first wife of the Sioux family, when the time can also go from the level of human kindness to let the other side of the net. So it seems that the chances of surviving this calamity are a bit greater. At this time, the Song family grandfather and grandson, the Ito family father and daughter, came together in front of Charlie. The oldest one, Elder Song, spoke first. "Master Wade, I have heard that you are in some trouble, so I have come with the Ito family to do my small part for you." Quote. Yuhiko also said, "Mr. Wade, all the top ninja of the 4 great families of Japan are here. No matter what the other party is, they will fight with all their might." Quote. Yuhiko did not dare to mention the words, cataclysmic front, because he was afraid that the ninjas' morale would be affected after hearing that. And once he said this, almost all of the Wade family members were shocked and excited. Shocked, they did not expect that the Ito family Yuhiko's both legs are broken, but still run to China to help Charlie. More importantly, he also brought the best ninja in Japan. The strength of the ninja, they had heard of, was basically similar to the domestic martial artists. Although they did not know, the real strength of these ninjas probably can equal a few stars martial artists, but one thing is certain is that every one of these ninjas is considered a martial artist. The strength of more than 100 ninjas, even if it is not as strong as the front, is certainly not to be underestimated. It may really be able to fight with them. Besides, isn't there still the He family around? Moreover, there is Ruoli, a long-lost expert. She was able to exterminate the Matsumoto family in Japan. The strength must also be not weak. The strength of the Song family in Oris Hill is also significant. Chapter 3508. At this time, Nanako looked at Charlie, eyes deep, tone certain, even with a sense of the world as a return, spoke. Charlie-jun, Nanako is also ready to fight with all her might. No matter who wants to find trouble with you today, we will not agree. Quote. Morgan saw this as almost unbearable to die, cursing in his heart, what the H3LL is this? Charlie at the end where the bully. Quote. Where the H3LL is the bully. Even Japan's recognized Yamato Nadeshiko, Japan's national treasure, the top beauty, is full of love for him. How can people live? Quote. Hawade also collapsed, crying in his heart, D*MN it. I've never seen so many top beauties at one time in my life, but so many of them look like they all like Charlie's fans. Why can't there be one of me, Hawade, with so many beauties? Quote. The rest of the Wade family was also shocked by Nanako's attitude. But what shocked them the most was actually Charlie's unbelievable connections. Originally, they thought that Charlie had merely taken the Emgrand group given by the old man as well as 10 billion in cash. In the end, in the hearts of most of them, he was just a hangman who couldn't make it to the stage. But who would have thought that when the Wade family was suffering such a calamity, and even the side branches of the family had all run away, so many people would come to Waderest to help Charlie. Among them, there were not only the local families in Oris Hill, but also the very famous He family in the field of martial arts, the trillionaire Gu family, and even the first wife and first lady of the Su family came too. Not only that, the most unbelievable thing is that even the Ito family from Japan came with so many people. Then look at the Wade family, not only did all the relatives run out, but not even a single friend came. In front of Charlie, this kind of trash network of the Wade family is not even a FA. Jongkwon also really did not expect that Charlie would be able to manage such strong connections, and that so many people would be willing to risk their lives to help him. This made Jongkwon not only shocked, but also a little ashamed. He was ashamed that he had made friends for so many years, but he didn't expect that no one would come to his aid at the critical moment. Compared to Charlie, he is simply poor to the extreme. And at this moment, Charlie's heart, also very touched. While being moved, he also said helplessly to Nanako, Warnia, and others, ladies and gentlemen, it's just a small matter. I didn't want to alarm you all, but I didn't expect that you would have to come all the way here. I'm really sorry. Quote. Warnia hurriedly asked, Master Wade, we usually receive a lot of favors from you. How can we stand by and do nothing in this situation? Charlie couldn't help but ask, how did you guys guess my identity? Whose credit is it? Quote. Warnia spat out her tongue and pointed to Nanako Ito and said, Nanako guessed it, but originally it was just a guess, then after it was corroborated by other things, we rushed over. Quote. Charlie suddenly came back to his senses and said offhandedly, it was the phone call you made to me yesterday that helped you guys corroborate it, right? I think I told you on the phone that I was in Eastcliff reading feng shui for someone else. Quote. Warnia said awkwardly, yes, Master Wade, you must not be angry, I also did not mean to test you, just too curious about your identity, so it. Nanako on the side was full of shame, and hurriedly said delicately, Master Charlie, please don't ever blame Sister Warnia, it was all my idea, I asked her to do so. Charlie smiled faintly and said seriously, how could it be, all of you came this far for me, how could I have the intention of blaming? Quote. Nanako breathed a sigh of relief and was busy asking, Master, today's matter, are you sure about it? Quote. Charlie nodded and smiled, and spoke, Of course, I never fight a battle that I am not sure of. Quote. Saying that, he looked at the Japanese ninjas and the Song family's men standing in neat rows not far behind her, and said, Nanako, let the ninjas you bring later not to make a move, warn ya, the same goes for your men over there. Just watch behind me silently. Quote. Warnia couldn't help but say, Master Wade, what are you doing? Charlie laughed lightly. If I even have to find helpers to deal with a mere cataclysmic front, then I still have such a face to be called Master Wade by you guys. Quote. At this time, the Wade family no longer knew what to say. Morgan, Wade, and the others, even the urge to sigh inwardly was gone. What was the best thing to say? They felt that Charlie had already finished pretending in this world. Still, what a district cataclysmic front. That tone of voice, as if the cataclysmic front is not a top mercenary organization, but a 3-year-old child. Jonquan is also feeling a numbness of the scalp. He was really afraid that Charlie found these helpers when one of them did not help, so a just relaxed heart, and again became incomparable apprehension. The time came to 7:40 in the morning. At the foot of the mountain that can only lead to the road to the Waiterest Mountain, has been able to see a funeral procession. This team of about 100 people, each dressed in white mourning clothes, the 8 people at the head of the team also carried 2 coffins, is fast running towards the mountain. Charlie saw this scene, the corners of his mouth rose slightly. Joseph, ah Joseph, you finally came. Chapter 3509. For this funeral procession of 100 people, the speed of marching is very fast. Even if someone in front of the team carrying 2 coffins, the speed of the march is no different from the general march. And this line of people is wearing the same tactical leather boots, walking quickly on the concrete, emitting a neat and uniform footsteps sound, resounding throughout the valley. Among the team, there is an old man, at this time, who followed the team and kept walking fast, has long been tired and panting. But the young people around him did not give him the opportunity to stop and catch his breath, but instead, he was constantly urged to continue to walk fast. And even someone will push him when he is about to fall in line, or roughly pull his mourning clothes on the hemp rope, put him to go forward. This old man is Chungfeng. At this time, the top of Waiterest Mountain. Charlie, as well as others, have seen the ever-approaching team. In the early morning sunlight, everyone could see the 2 eye-catching black coffins, so everyone knew very well in their hearts that this group must be the cataclysmic front. The Wade family was immediately like a great enemy, each of them fidgeted nervously. Charlie, however, looked at the funeral procession at the foot of the mountain from afar, the corners of his mouth wiped over a cold smile. At this moment, his heart secretly sighs, Joseph, you finally came. Not only am I anxiously waiting for you, your commander Walter, and your Wan family's benefactors have also been waiting for you for many days. Quote. Once he thought this, Charlie said to Leon, Housekeeper Leon, pass on my order to have the uncles at the bottom of the mountain give way to the procession, no one must disobey. Quote. Yes. Leon immediately informed the people below the mountain and told them to make sure to clear the way. Although these people were indignant in their hearts, because it was Charlie's order, all of them could only do as they were told. So, they moved to both sides and gave way, opening the road up the mountain. The leader, Joseph, took a big step forward, and when he passed these people, he just glanced at them and saw that they didn't block them. So he didn't look at them anymore and stepped towards the ancestral tomb of the Wade family halfway up the mountain. The road up the mountain is part of the foundation project of the Wade family and has spent a lot of money to build the Waiterest Mountain. The whole road is wide and flat, even the lowest chassis supercar can easily drive up. Therefore, for this line of people, walking up the mountain is like walking on smooth ground. 7:55 o'clock. Joseph led the cataclysmic front soldiers, aggressively after the last bend, directly to meet the Wade family ancestral tomb of the Chinese White Jade Pagoda. This group of well-trained experts of the front, each one is full of murderous aura, marching, like a ceremonial procession, each step is neat and powerful, the closer they get, the more shocking it is. At this moment, he saw the Wade family 200 or 300 people assembled here, but no one wearing mourning, immediately angry, the eyes have been full of killing intent. Next to him, Harmon also saw that no one from the Wade family was wearing mourning and said in exasperation, "Supreme Commander, you left the Wade family a chance to live, but it seems they don't want it." Quote. Joseph sneered, "It doesn't matter, since they don't want it, then today we will first pick up the bones of Changying from the grave, and then my parents will be buried in a big way. After today, we will kill all the Wade family members one by one." Quote. Zhengfeng at this time has almost run off his legs, panting, said, "Yosh. Joseph, Wade family this is rather die than give in awe." Joseph said disdainfully, "In that case, then all of them go to death." Quote. After saying that, he took the lead and stepped towards the pagoda of the ancestral tomb of the Wade family, while Charlie also stepped below the pagoda at this time. The Wade family, except for Zhongquan and Charlie's Aunt Layla, did not dare to go too far, and all others tried to back up. However, those who rushed to Charlie's aid, one by one, stood by Charlie's side, even a few girls, without a trace of fear. Jiu recognized at a glance the other camp. The old man in mourning was none other than her own grandfather Chengfeng, and immediately asked in surprise, "Grandpa, you are..." Chapter 3510. Chengfeng did not dream that his granddaughter was here. And then looked down at their own body wearing mourning clothes. He only felt a burst of old face hot, cannot wait to open a crack into the ground. When he was embarrassed, he suddenly saw Leona beside Jiu, and saw that she was also surprised, and at the same time with a few points of contempt, his face also got even hotter. Chengfeng just wanted to avoid Leona's eyes, but then he found another figure in the crowd that shocked him. It was his other granddaughter, Xin's illegitimate daughter, Ruoli. At this moment, Chengfeng's heart was in shock. Ruoli is still alive. How come her mother is also here? Quote. And Luther. D*MN, why did the He family come to help the Wade family? Chengfeng's heart was on fire, but after thinking about it, he thought in his heart, so what if the He family? They are no match for the cataclysmic front. Quote. When Zhongquan saw Chengfeng at this moment, he was also very annoyed in his heart and couldn't help but say, "Hey, so it's Brother Su. You are so old, who are you wearing mourning for? Is it possible that you have a new godfather at your age?" Quote. Zhengfeng's face was hot and he said, "Zhongquan, you should care about yourself. After today, there is only one way for your family to die." Quote. If you don't wear mourning and kneel down to beg for mercy, your family's ancestral grave will be ripped off. Quote. Zhongquan said sternly, "Chengfeng, you old dog. Buried up to the eyebrows and bones, but you still put on mourning. How shameless. I, Zhongquan, won't be like you, wagging my tail in front of outsiders for the sake of profit." Quote. Chengfeng was furious. "All of you surnamed Wade are good, since you are all so powerful, then you should seek your own luck." Quote. At this moment, Joseph stepped forward and came to a stop 3 meters in front of Charlie. He looked at Charlie and the others in front of him and said in a cold voice with gritted teeth, "Wade, yesterday I already sent word to you that if you want to live, you should wear mourning and kneel to greet my parents' coffin today." Quote. But to my surprise, none of you did it. It seems that all of you are not afraid of death. Quote. Charlie smiled lightly at this time. "I don't know if others are afraid of death, I only know that I am not afraid." Quote. Most of the Wade family members were nervous as hell. Andrew even whispered to Morgan, "Quick. Quietly go and bring the mourning clothes over." Quote. Morgan nodded in a panic, backed up with his waist. took out 2 sets of linen mourning clothes from the pile of items for the ancestor worship ceremony, and then immediately tucked them into his arms like a thief. What he didn't expect was that Hawade also took out several sets of mourning clothes from a tin box containing incense, and also tucked them into his arms, like a pregnant woman. 2 people looked at each other, can see the surprise in each other's eyes, also guessed each other's intentions, then 2 people ignored each other, and turned their heads, and slipped into the crowd. Immediately after, Andrew and Changyan family have mourning clothes tucked in their arms, waiting for the wrong time, immediately put on the surrender. In front of him, Charlie did not answer Joseph's words, but only looked him up and down to assess the overall strength of the man. This was the first time he saw Joseph. Have to say, this person is really full of murderous aura. In a look comes many years of practical combat practice out. Moreover, his cultivation is very solid, and all 8 channels had been opened. In the field of martial arts, Joseph was indeed the strongest one Charlie had seen so far. However, in Charlie's eyes, even an 8-star martial artist like Joseph was still dregs. Without aura, relying only on internal force, even if all 8 channels are opened, and all of them to the 10th perfect realm, so what? It is still difficult to escape the category of mortal and mundane bones. Please subscribe to my YouTube for latest update. Salva channel. Thank you very much and keep safe everyone.